Lesson that it can happen to anyone by anyone. My initial feeling was shock as well. Then it was disbelief and just disappointment in how the school has handled this situation, pretending that nothing has happened.
That was Dorata Mani, whose 14-year-old daughter was one of several girls at a New Jersey high school victimized by fake AI images created by a classmate. At least that's what's been reported.
Yeah, let's dive deeper into this one with our NewsNation newsmakers, Dr. Lauren Wright, Colby Hall, Jesse Weber. Thank you all for being here once again. So Jesse, let me just start with you on this and the legality of this, because I think a lot of people heard this story, you've read the articles, and are confused why the legality of these photos and the punishment for the creator or creators isn't made clear. I mean, does this not go so far as to constitute child porn and the distribution of? I mean, what say you on this?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would be surprised to learn that New Jersey is one of those states that doesn't have a law in the books that specifically addresses these kind of deep fake child pornography cases. I mean, we've seen it, laws passed in Minnesota and New York, but New Jersey, I think probably after this is going to have to realize they have to get with the times. And there's no federal legislation banning deepfake videos. I mean, we have to be clear, this is a new technology. The law has to keep up with technology. And one of the most disturbing aspects of this whole case is not only the fact that we are in a world where this is happening, but the ability and the ease for high school students to maybe use it against their high school classmates. Law enforcement can't even find the images to track it back down to who used it. So we're this is a new technology. Law enforcement has to figure out what to do. And now prosecutors and also legislators have to figure out how to keep pace with this.
Well, I want to know what Lauren thinks about this. And Colby, obviously, we want to talk to you, too. I think that there are some people wondering, what is the difference, even though it might be a lot more realistic, between somebody using AI technology to create a fake nude and putting on, cut and paste from a magazine and using other editing tools to harass classmates? Why is it getting so much attention? Is it because it's AI and AI is trendy right now?
Yes, and I think schools are hiding behind this excuse of, well, it's a new technology, it's AI, the regulations have to keep up with it. It's still abuse and harassment and extortion of another student at this high school, and these kids need to be expelled and there need to be consequences for them. I mean, that to a lot of people looking at this is cut and dry. But to Jesse's point, there are a lot of states besides New Jersey who are ahead of the curve on this. My home state of California is one of them. They have laws. But if we're holding our breath for Congress to take action, I mean, half the people can't even unlock their iPhone without a staffer. So we're going to be waiting a long time. But certain states are better, and schools need to be much more forceful about this. They should know how to discipline their students.
Colby, is this really opening up a larger conversation about social media and its dangers? Because I just think a lot of times we're hearing stories and it's AI, 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 and it's vilifying the technology again, when this is all rooted in something much deeper than the access to editing tools.
We're living in the future. Like, the technology has sort of gone beyond where we can kind of like litigate and manage. And I think this is a horrible story, but it's a really good story that we talk about, because it's going to force us to handle these issues and deal with them. Now, what you said earlier, I think is right. People have been able to Photoshop stuff like this forever, but to be an expert on Photoshop, it required a little bit of intelligence and good judgment. What AI does is it gives those tools to almost anyone, and a lot of people don't have that level of judgment. So I do think that we need to sort of deal with this with alacrity, because this is just one story. It's going to start happening more and more unless we quickly get something on the books and say, yeah, this is harassment. You can't do this. You're going to get expelled, and we move on.
Yeah.
But if I could just jump in real quick to Lauren's point, I think this is one of those bipartisan issues. The same thing with UFOs. If that can get Republicans and Democrats to come to the middle, how could this not be an issue that everyone should agree on?
On planet Earth, nonetheless. Right. I mean,
you make a great point.
But I don't think any schools, to be fair, are sitting there saying, well, we don't know if this is considered harassment, or we don't know if this is considered distribution of child porn. I think that schools are in a really tough place. No, I mean, if you get into education today, considering how much teachers have to deal with, you really love kids. I think that sometimes we're vilifying the schools when they're trying to catch up with the technology that they don't even understand, let alone most of the journalists out here today who don't understand AI either because they're not doing all the research. It's too hard. We don't have time. So I think that we have to just make sure that we're all coming together on this.
We know one of those students is calling for legislative change, but with all that's going on in the world, we'll see if, how quickly we get to that.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.